Hello, and welcome back to part 2 of our series. If you were to paint your house, you would want to prime the walls first, preparing them for a fresh coat of paint. This idea extends well beyond wall painting and into the realm of child development. Children learn best when the brain is prepped and primed. In the second part of our series, I will show you how to use the neurobiology of your child to your advantage. Once you understand how these neuroscience principles can work for you and your child, I will show you how to create captivating lesson plans to enhance the learning fun. This is in part 3, so you don't want to miss this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, part 2. Priming the young brain for learning. Jean Piaget is known as the father of child developmental psychology, and he shaped our understanding of how children learn. He believed that children acquire knowledge through an active process by testing and experimenting with their surroundings, just like little scientists do. And as the day progresses, children make observations about their environment, and then they categorize the knowledge into something we call schemas that are neatly stored in our brain. Over time, children revise this information by inserting and replacing it with new information they learn in the day. Keeping this in mind, our number one goal during this time period of a young child's life is to nurture that curiosity and love of learning. We know that children do best in short bouts of about 10 minutes for 2 to 3-year-olds of a lesson plan, and up to 20 minutes for 4 to 5-year-olds. And just like any other skill, attention span must be trained and practiced. So train the young mind early and often, and watch as your child's ability to learn is magnified. There are 5 ways to increase the learning experience in your child. The first one is sensory. Have you ever wondered why using the sense of touch when you teach a child how to count, or using the sense of hearing when you teach a child the ABCs through a song is so effective in the learning process? Our 5 senses are remarkably powerful tools that gather new information about the environment. The brain learns best when our senses are activated in parallel and the brain structures are working together. For instance, when you teach a young child the counting principles, using beads for example, you integrate brain structures. So you have vision, which is the bead color and the size. Also auditory processing, when the child listens to the teacher's instructions. Then there's tactile parts of the brain working when the child manipulates the beads, along with higher order cognitive centers, such as the prefrontal cortex responsible for executive function, and finally the hippocampus, which is the center for learning and memory. And so scientists have discovered that integrating the 5 senses during the learning process builds neuronal pathways in these corresponding brain areas, so that later on, when the child is asked to recall this information, these neuronal networks can be reactivated with greater ease for memory retrieval. Many educational philosophies are based on this, such as the Montessori method, because it engages the child through a multisensorial curriculum. Try it for yourself and find out with hands-on lesson plans, which I will cover in part 3. The second way to increase the learning experience in children is through exercise. Our bodies are built to move. Exercise is known to enhance learning in the brain. When you exercise, the increase in heart rate and blood pressure releases a cocktail of hormones, and we have the feel-good hormones, which are endorphins, and we also have BDNF released into the brain, which is known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor. As the blood is circulating through our body, it delivers fresh nutrients and oxygen, improving learning and memory. So which exercise is best for your child? It really doesn't matter, as long as you keep them moving. An interesting study in preteens found that when you compare the brain scans of children who sat for 20 minutes as compared to children who took a walk for 20 minutes, the results were absolutely astounding. Brain activity maps showed that these fit children have much larger brain volumes as compared to the sedentary group, and then these regions were involved in memory and attention. And the best part of it all is that these results can apply to our adult brains as well. So go ahead and take your child on that bike ride, or take the child out for a walk with the dog before a lesson. You will be glad you did. The third way to increase learning in your child is by integrating emotions into the lesson plan. Can you think back to the day your child was born? Can you remember with vivid detail the doctor's face, the color of the walls of the delivery room, and how exactly it felt to hold that precious little baby in your arms? These are emotionally charged experiences that get engraved into our brain, and they are there for a very important evolutionary reason, because it makes our brain pay attention when emotions are involved. By integrating the cognitive thinking parts of the brain with the emotional neural networks, the brain can optimize attention, learning, memory, reasoning, and problem-solving abilities. So incorporating emotions into any lesson plan when working with a young child is advantageous because it transforms the learning process and makes it much more efficient. Next, we have play as the fourth way to enhance learning for your child. According to Dr. Maria Montessori, play is the work of the child. Observe any child during play and you will see them immersed in a world filled with imagination, a world of richness of language and thinking skills. Playing is learning, and the child uses this powerful tool to navigate life's changes. It also builds a skill set important for life and helps them develop into intelligent and capable adults. The brain's neurochemistry also changes during play, and the brain reward centers are activated, improving memory, attention, cognitive flexibility, and motivation. If you want to find out more about the benefits of play, please visit my blog entitled Let Our Children Play, the 10 science facts that every parent should know, which I will attach in the description below. And finally, we have rest as the fifth way to improve learning in children. Okay, so we all know how important sleep is for learning, but did you also know that a relaxed brain is a focused brain, prepped and primed for the learning process? Children are fast learners, and that is because they spend a larger portion of their sleep cycle in a deep phase known as the slow wave sleep. This is an important phase where the newly learned material, which is stored in the hippocampus, which is the center for learning and memory, transfers to the prefrontal cortex, the center for executive function, for long-term storage, resulting in efficient information retention. Another way to rest the brain is through something we call quiet time. Quiet time allows the brain to slow down, it gives it a period of rest, and it allows to integrate the information the child learns throughout the day. So for example, with my own daughter, I do this by sending her to her room for quiet time immediately after lunch. During this time, she can play with her toys, read, relax a little bit, and it's an added bonus if she actually falls asleep. So there you have it, the 5 ways to maximize teaching time with your child using neurobiology to your advantage. For more early learning brain hacks, for part 3 of this series, where we will show you how to craft beautifully engaging lesson plans using the scientific principles and also to nurture that childlike curiosity. See you next time!